begin with our reflection. I would just recollect ourselves and be mindful of the presence of one another via Zoom.
분석해야 되지.
And be aware of God's presence among us. Sorry. Glory to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and will be forever. Amen. Thank you.
Okay, for those of you who came a little bit late, let me just repeat my introduction. Father Yohanis Mankey, MSc, is our speaker today, and he will speak on leadership in religious life today, inspirations from Father Jules Chevalier. Father Yohanis Mankey was ordained priest in 29th of June, 1981. He served the MSC congregation in numerous administrative capacities, such as Counselor of the Indonesian MSC administration. He was appointed to the as General Counselor for 12 years, and he was Provincial Superior of the Indonesian province, as well as a Provincial Secretary of the MSC Indonesian province. He was Director too of De La Salle University in Manado for some years. Presently, he is the archivist of the Indonesian province, and at the same time, he is in charge of the laicization process of the priesthood, those who leave the priesthood and religious life to become lay people. He did his master's degree in spirituality, specialized in spirituality of the heart in the USA. So, Father Yohanis Mankey, let's welcome him. It, it's now your turn. Thank you.
Thank you, and nice to meet you all. First of all, I would like to thank the Corvite team for once again inviting me for this seminar. Here, I would like to share with you some thoughts, reflection on the leadership, especially as it's inspired by the leadership of our Father Jules Chevalier. The question given to me, or the statement rather, is something like this. Going back to the original inspiration of the founder, Father Jules Chevalier, and involving spirituality in the service of mission and defining mission as a response to the situation of the people as a servant leader.
Yes, Father Yohanis, can you share with us your PowerPoint, please?
Oh, you haven't seen this yet? Is this in your screen or no?
Yeah, you have to do it again. You have to do it again. Yes.
Is it okay or not yet?
Not yet.
Oh. Sorry. Meaning that I have to.
Meanwhile, may I check the translation for Korean sisters for a while?
Oh, no. Sorry.
집다수님 한국 통역 잘 들리시나요? 잘 들리시면 손 들어주시면 감사하겠습니다. 안 들려요. 예, 여기 잘 안 들리시는 분들을 위해서 잠깐 안내해 드릴게요. 그 화면 밑에 보면 통역 버튼 있거든요. 통역 버튼 누르시면은 영어, 한국어 선택할 수가 있습니다. 그래서 한국어 선택해 주시면은 세실리아 수녀님 목소리로 통역이 들릴 거예요.
Not this one, no? Oh, no.
잠시만요. 제가 저기 화면으로 지타 수녀님 보이셔서 그런데.
Am I a co-host?
Yeah, you are already co-host. 지금 세실리아 수녀님 말씀 들으시나요? 지타 수녀님 소리 들리세요? 한국말 들리세요? 제 목소리 말고 세실리아 수녀님 목소리 들리시는 거죠?
No.
Can you enlarge it, please?
How about this? Not yet? Oh. Oh my.
요한 수녀님 소리 잘 오케이, 좋습니다. 글리 수녀님 잘 들리시죠? 두 분은 그냥 영어로 들으시나요? 네, 알겠습니다.
Oh, where is that file? I opened it already, but it did not appear yet, right?
It appeared, but it went off when you clicked an icon. But you can share it again.
Yeah, you just go to the bottom on the screen of
Yeah,
Zoom, and then share the screen. Now we can see your screen.
Good.
So
Okay.
on the bottom, so you can see the red line, and then as we
Below, at the bottom.
below at the bottom.
Yeah, the screen, the screen.
Is it okay?
No, not yet. You go to the bottom, the red one, and you see there the screen icon. You click it to the bottom.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
Yes, that
That's
one.
right. Yeah.
That one. Yes. Okay. Very good.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So this statement is in connection with the general theme of the seminar is about leadership. Yeah. So here I would like to help you reflect on the leadership of Father Jules Chevalier. For this, and also how this leadership then develops, especially after the Vatican II, and how the leadership of the religious congregations find new ways, new elements, then they have to integrate in the leadership. For this, I would like to mention the following points that would help us reflect throughout this seminar. There are only some important points I would like to mention. I would like to say here, if we read, for instance, the present constitution and statutes of the Daughters of Lady of the Sacred Heart, approved on the 2nd of October 2013, yeah, the terminology used there, not so much, for instance, superior, but leader, yeah, leadership, yeah. For instance, congregational leader, provincial leader, yeah. While in the constitutions of the MSC, my constitution, for instance, as an MSC, we still use the word superior. And I'm now part of the special commission to revise our constitutions for the upcoming general chapter in Rome, yeah, by the end of September until the beginning of October. But the term superior is not discussed. Yeah, so I think at the present time we still use the word superior, but many religious congregations, yeah, use already the term leader, like I mentioned in the constitution of the FDNSC, yeah, congregational leader, to refer to what we usually call the superior general, yeah, or provincial leader, yeah, provincial superior, and so forth like that. First of all, I would like to mentioned that Father Chevalier was a leader, of course, yeah. And he exercised his leadership in Isudang in two responsibilities. First, we know that he was appointed parish priest of Saint Cyr of Isudang. And we all know the difficulties or the challenges he had to face at that time, what he himself called the social evils, yeah, or the social ills. And these social ills were very rampant in the population or in the people of Isudan, yeah, the majority of them. And these social evils are manifested in, for instance, religious indifferentism, materialism, egoism, and still many others. But Father Chevalier was also the founder and leader. At that time he was called superior, of course, yeah, of religious congregation, first MSC, and then 20 years later he founded the Daughters of Lady of the Sacred Heart. And he led especially the MSC congregation for 47 years. Yeah. And of course, yeah, he liked to put his congregations in line with the charism, the spirituality, and mission. And we will see that from the very beginning, he was very mission-oriented. Yeah. Not only in Isudan, yeah, to face the people there in that situation of social ills or evils, yeah, but also he was very concerned with what is called at that time missio ad gentes, yeah, mission to the people who did not believe in Jesus Christ yet. Or sometimes this is also called faraway mission. So, in these capacities, as parish priest and founder and leader of religious congregation, then he directed, yeah, these two heavy tasks. And here then we will see the qualities of his leadership. And we can say that for all these years of his leadership, both as parish priest and founder and leader of religious congregation, he had to face many difficult situations. Yeah, we will see, yeah, trials, even persecutions from the political people at the time, yeah, those in civil authority. Yeah. But all in all, he served in fidelity diligence, discipline, untiringly working hard, with all the sacrifices. But most of all, he rooted his leadership, his life, in an interior life, a deep spiritual life. We will see that this will become the strength of his life, so of all his ministries or mission. And for this, we can read, of course, again and again, many testimonies, as compiled by Eugene Kaskeley in his famous book, Man with a Mission. I refer here from page 281 and so on. By the end of his life, Brother Van Houten from the Netherlands, also Father Chevalier's nurse. So this brother then lived many years, beside Father Chevalier. He summarized when by the end of Father Chevalier's life, this brother was asked, what is your opinion, or how do you describe Father Jules Chevalier? And he said it in French. C'était un géant. It means he was a giant. Or in other words, we can say he was a big man in every way. Here then I would like to quote some testimonies about Father Chevalier. When I refer to page, for instance here, page 290, it means the book of Kaskeley, Men with a Mission, Jules Chevalier, Men with a Mission. Father Maillard wrote, founder and superior general for 47 years of a congregation which developed considerably in its later years. Parish priest for 45 years of a parish of 12,000 souls, a parish not easy to run, with a voluminous correspondence. He still found a way of writing several books, which must have demanded a lot of study and research. He was thus at times quoted as a model of activity and of indefatigable working. So, in a very short way, Father Maillard was saying about Father Chevalier in his task, in his responsibility as a founder and superior general, and then for parish priest, but he still had time to write letters, especially to the mission. when his conference were already there. There are so many letters. Also, to different persons, yeah, in France or outside France, yeah, to the Holy Father, to the Vatican, yeah, there are so many. At least I still have with me in my computer, but all in French, more than 3,000 letters of Father Jules Chevalier. Yeah. We also still have several books, yeah, written by him. Although some theologians said, well, Father Chevalier was not a very great theologian. Yes, yeah, we acknowledge that. He was not a very famous theologian at the time, but still, the books he wrote have great values for us, especially when it comes to the theme of the Sacred Heart and Our Lady of the Sacred Heart. So one of the things that we can see from Father Chevalier then is his hard working and activity. Another quotation here on page 282, but a man's chief worth is that of a spirit put in the service of an idea. It seems that Father Chevalier entered life with an idea to which he dedicated himself without reserve and without wavering. It is a mystical idea, devotion to the Sacred Heart, and a practical conception, the foundation of a society of missionaries of the Sacred Heart. His whole life is summed up in this. He is the man of an idea and a work. So here we can see how people gave testimony about him. A man of great activity working, but also a man of a mystical idea. And what is meant here, mystical idea, of course, is the devotion to the Sacred Heart. Yeah. And the foundation of the MSA and later on of the Daughters of Our Lady of the Sacred Heart. So. But as we know also that Chevalier was a great man because of his heart moved by the needs of the people in their concrete situation. And to them, he showed a good, a caring, a sensitive and compassionate heart. And especially toward those who were poor, sick, suffering, or in other words, for those who need a touch of love, a true love, a genuine love. Yeah. I quote here again, we should perhaps note that in his work, he was concerned with the poor in a particular way. He gave to them generously, knowing that at times he was being deceived by their hard luck stories. I will mention a couple of stories later. Yeah. He used to say, however, that he would rather give to undeserving cases than refuse to give when the need was genuine. Yeah, I believe this is also our difficulty sometimes in seeing people coming to us. Either he's genuine, either he's genuine in his asking because of his need, or there is something behind him he was hiding, for instance. Yeah. But this is what the Chevalier in his time. Yeah. Sometimes, he knew that he was being deceived. Yeah. But still, he gave something. And his good heart then was expressed in his charity and kindness. And even, we can read in one of the testimonies there that people see in him that he was always amiable, with a wonderful smile, and he was always welcoming. Yeah. It was mentioned here also how every day he had to receive many, many guests, not only his confreres, but also many people coming to him. Here I would like to quote a few testimonies about Father Jules Chevalier. Yeah. Shall I speak of his unrelenting kindness? If anyone had need of help, if anyone was in any difficulty or trouble, he or she never approached the good Father in vain. It made little difference to him whether the person asking was a friend or an enemy. He had the same welcoming spirit for all. Yeah. So he did not discriminate. Yeah. Sometimes he knew, well, this man was always opposing me, a kind of enemy, but here we can read that Father Chevalier always show the welcoming spirit. His charity. If only all the people he helped would make it known. As for himself, he took great pains to hide it. His left hand never knew what his right hand was doing, and yet how many examples could be mentioned that we ourselves knew of. At Chinol, when visiting a sick woman, he found her in deep depression. After having comforted her by suggesting to abandon herself to divine providence, he left her and then visited one of her neighbors to whom he spoke of the sick woman. There he learned that the poor woman was in dire poverty. He, Chevalier, then took out of his pocket 100 francs and gave them to the neighbor, asking her to give them to the sick woman, but making her promise not to reveal the name of the donor. so that neighbor should not mention that this donation was from Father Chevalier. It was always with great sensitivity that he helped the poor who were ashamed of their condition, those who kept their misery hidden. Another testimony. At times, people took advantage of his charity. That did not stop him. A man came to him and with tears described his condition and that of his family, that he said was without food. The Reverend Father then gave him a sum of money that he had just received. Yeah, perhaps a kind of stipend. Yeah, he received when he was visiting the other families, and that at the time when the persecution had cut into resources and to a man who had had a part in causing Father a number of problems. So it seems that the father of this family had caused a lot of problems to Father Chevalier, but still even that, Father Chevalier did not like to remember it, but he also only listened to that man who came for help. That same evening, the man in question was with his family at a show put on by a circus that was passing through. So we can see here how, the man deceived Father Chevalier. If he was really poor with his family, he would not go to that circus show. Yeah, but then, well, with that kind of a sum of money, yeah, given by Father Chevalier, that man and his family could go to that show. Another one, a businessman had huge problems. His future was at stake. He came to find the Reverend Father, who immediately began to act as mediator. Everything came out according to the wishes of the man in question, who unfortunately was one of those who had worked against Father Chevalier. Besides, as everyone knew and could see, no one had more of a right to preach about forgiving one's enemies than our Father, since everyone knew how much he put into practice that commandment of our Lord. Yeah. So I think this is also a great example for us. Yeah. How we could forgive our enemies. Yeah. And then just forget the past. So we see here that in those testimonies then, and also in other situation, of course, yeah, how the life and ministry of Father Chevalier really were tested by difficulties, even contradiction, trials, persecutions, storms, internally and externally. Yeah. we all know about how in the internal of his own congregation, yeah, he had to face a lot of problems. Yeah. The contradiction there, or the difference of opinions, yeah, in his own conference, yeah, and many other things, all in the meetings, in the chapter, in the general chapters, and there are so many things he has to face, yeah, in his own congregation. But also externally, of course, we know the persecution, yeah, and how many political or civil authorities also were against Father Chevalier. Especially, it was a very heartbreaking when he saw his confreres have to leave France, yeah, taking exile to Belgium or to other neighboring countries, yeah, because they were expelled, yeah, by the government who were enacting the new law, yeah, the law against the church, against the religious, yeah, and so forth like that. But facing all this, he never lost hope. Yeah. He was strong in his faith. Yeah. And we also see that his willingness to do sacrifice. Yeah. A lot of sacrifices he has to face. Yeah. No one will think that such a work can be done without difficulties or contradictions. Trials are naturally inevitable and supernaturally necessary. Father Chevalier met with them along his way. He was neither surprised nor discouraged by them. He did not even lose that security of soul or faith which singled him out. So this is just a kind of a statement to say that Father Chevalier really a man of strong faith and a great hope, yeah, especially facing all the difficulties and trials. He has at his service a further strength, calm, and unruffled self-possession. We have seen him pray to all sorts of difficulties, exposed to contradictions, and he never lost his peace of soul. So here then we will see the qualities of Chevalier heart, especially in facing these difficulties. His calmness, his peace of soul, yeah. He was not disturbed by all this kind. Yeah. Time and again, for one reason or another, they can close his chapel or his basilica, and he never gives up hope of coming back. He does not like noise. violence is not his affair, but he does not renounce his rights. He goes calmly to his goal, and nothing can turn him aside. He is sweetly stubborn. Yeah, I like also this kind of expression, sweetly stubborn. Yeah. He kept his commitment. Yeah. But he did it in a very calm way. Yeah. And as mentioned here, also he did not like violence. Yeah. And he didn't like to make noise. As the leader, he remained in East Sudan to take care of the running of his congregation, although most of his members had to take exile and spread in other neighboring countries. Yeah. As we know that the law enacted by the French government at the time, that law against the church and the religious, all those who were religious had to leave the country. Yeah. So Father Chevalier thought that it would be very good for him to remain in Sudan, to take care of the congregation, but also to take care of the parish, of the people. So he renounced then his, what we say, his religious life, in order that he could stay in France. But most of his confreres, men then, who kept their religious life, they had to go to Belgium or other neighboring countries. He remained alone in his land of France, superior general for life of this religious order. He had to renounce his title and his charge and conceal the last bond which still attached him to his religious family. A little later, he was thrown out of his house and he was carried sick, impassive as a Roman senator on his wheelchair. This old man of 80 years was thrown into the street. This describes the last days of his life, yeah, when he was thrown out from his rectory, the parish house where he had to live for many, many years. Yeah, he was thrown out into the street on a wheelchair, and then he had to move to another house. Of course, this is a very painful experience, yeah, for Father Chevalier. But as we have seen that he never gave up. He was persistent, strong, tough in fighting what was good and right. I give you another example here about the closing of the basilica by under the order of the government. Yeah. When the basilica was closed, Reverend Father Chevalier took the steps to have it open on the 8th of September for the pilgrims. The permission was first given and then rescinded. A policeman was stationed there to carry out the orders received from his civil superiors. The doors and the gate were open. When the officer ordered them closed, something that he himself did. Right away, Reverend Father Chevalier, who was present, had them open again, and the crowd began to enter. When the policeman saw this, he had the gate closed again. Without being discouraged, Father opened it again, and the same game was repeated 3 or 4 times in succession until worn out, and perhaps because of the boos of the crowd, gitu ya. The agent gave up. Mother Gertrude, a sister, a religious sister, said to the agent, to that police, indignantly, "God will punish you." And he in turn replied phlegmatically, "I just do my duty." So you can imagine how this happened, no? Closing the door, open it, close it, open it, close, and so forth, like this kind of game that being repeated several times. This also show how Father Chevalier was persistent in his stand to open the basilica and allow the people to come and pray there. Perhaps here we can see the reaction of Mother Gertrude, who was a bit more emotional than Father Chevalier, who were more calm. God will punish you. I just do my duty, and the officer said then in return. And here also we see that when it comes to mission, he has a very mission-oriented mind. He dedicated a lot of his time and energy thinking about mission to make present the love of God, not only in Issoudun in France, but especially in the mission countries. Once he himself expressed his desire to go to the mission, but then because of the situations in France and of course his responsibilities, he could not go. But then what amazed me, that his missionary vision or intuition developed and even was becoming stronger and stronger. If we, for instance, read many of his letters in this book, Mission ad Gentes 1881, in the series of Fontes MSc, series 3, volume 1, we can sense there. Yeah. How the vision, the intuition of Chevalier about mission was always growing. Yeah. Even only through the correspondence, yeah, he learned a lot about the situation, for instance, in New Guinea, yeah, especially at the time, yeah. The situation of the people, the situation of the conference he sent there, all kinds of difficulties they had to face, and many other things. Yeah, yeah. And what is always interesting also, that regularly or from time to time, Father Chevalier went to Rome. Yeah. He went to Rome and always tried to have an appointment with the Pope. Of course, there he talked about the mission, yeah, especially in Melanesia and Micronesia at the time. So here then, his vision about mission, let's say, is more becoming clearer and clearer. Yeah. And when he was asked by the Holy Father or the Congregation of Propaganda Fide, yeah, or through by the Holy Father through this congregation, to take on the mission in Melanesia and Micronesia, we know that at the very beginning, Father Chevalier was reluctant because he thought that he would not have adequate people to go there yet. Yeah. But because of the urgency of the mission, and so the strong invitation of the Holy See to go there, and finally Father Chevalier accept in obedience, saying, for instance, to undertake the evangelization of New Guinea and the surrounding islands is a task quite beyond our strength. Yet, despite the admission of a manifest inadequacy and justifiable misgivings, with the Virgin of Nazareth, our lowly congregation replies, "Behold the handmaid of the Lord, let it be done to me according to your word." Yeah. Well, actually, this quotation is much longer. Yeah, but this is only to say that Chevalier was so obedient. Yeah, but his obedience was modeled after the Virgin Mary. Yeah, or even after this sentence, there was still Saint Peter was mentioned there. Yeah, who was also a model of this obedience. So here I would like to say then, Chevalier had a very clear vision and mission to make the Sacred Heart of Jesus known and loved everywhere. So I would say that the secret of his strength as a leader is to love his brothers and sisters and those he served. Always in the example of Jesus himself. We can always learn from Father Chevalier, yeah? Especially in our role as leaders, for instance. We will face, of course, many trials, but as I learned from Father Chevalier, the secret of his strength as leader is to love his brothers and sisters, or those he served, even like we just saw previously, they do not like us, or they hate us, or even they show their opposition to us. But as we know that love can make a difference. And another hard quality of Father Chevalier life is his humility and simplicity. Yeah. And he always see that what he was doing is for the glory of God and of the Sacred Heart. And so he developed in himself the virtue of humility and simplicity. And this also would lead him to another virtue of the heart, gratefulness, always being thankful for what he has received and what he could give to others. Father Chevalier was a grateful man, never ceasing to wonder at or give profuse thanks for divine providence. He simply did not like other people paying him compliments for what he had done. Yeah. This is also one of his great virtue. Yeah, he did not like to be praised. Yeah. He just liked to show his humility and simplicity. But also his regularity and discipline of life, or in life and service. Yeah, I just quote very briefly here, but this is a bit longer actually, on page 290, about his, let's say, his daily schedule. Yeah, how Father Chevalier live every day. And we can see that this is very amazing, of course. Yeah. He used to sleep at the community of the Sacred Heart from 5 a.m. He was at meditation. Yeah. Imagine. Yeah. Very early in the morning. Yeah. At 5, he was at meditation with his confreres. At 6 a.m., he went to his confessional in the Basilica. At 6:30, he celebrated Mass at the altar of Our Lady of the Sacred Heart. So only about half an hour in the confessional, yeah, he celebrated Mass. And then after his Thanksgiving, he was again at the service of his penitence. So after the Mass, he went back again to confessional. And we can read then so on and so on. And then at 11, he went to the parish church to teach catechism, especially to the children until noon. Children here, mostly, of course, the school children. Yeah. At 6 o'clock, p.m. here, he went back to the basilica for the exercises of the community there for the night. This is p.m., not e.m., yeah? He went back to the basilica for the exercise of the community there for the night. And we can still read a bit more than that, yeah, about his daily schedule. So in other words, his life as a leader was strongly based on his faith and deep spiritual life that is rooted in prayer and meditation. The two responsibilities as founder and parish priest then need strong and mature qualities of a leader. Chevalier leadership then, in other words, cannot be separated from his personal character or traits. Shall we go on? Okay.
Would you like to have the rest for a bit? How would you like to discuss?
If possible, we have 5 minutes, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
So we will have 5 minutes of break. And after that, we will come back for the continuing presentation. My watch right now says
okay, thank you.
11. So we come back at 2:40, 2:50. Thank you. 5 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. Here I would like to mention the model of Good Shepherd, the image very dear to our Father Chevalier. Yeah. A kind of a model of leadership. In 1986, I was writing my thesis on this spirituality of the heart. And I discovered that Father Chevalier liked very much this image of the Good Shepherd. Because in this image, Father Chevalier discovered a Christ who, like all we know, all the qualities of the Good Shepherd then, who went in search of the lost sheep, who invited people to come to him to find rest, to lay down his life for the sake of others. Yeah. And we know this is his biggest sacrifice. Yeah. And we also find in this actually model of Good Shepherd a heart full of compassion, yeah, toward all, and especially his mercy towards the lost sheep. For this, I would like then to quote, yeah, about this. In order that they might truly be disciples of him, who declare himself gentle and humble of heart, they will combine the greatest gentleness towards their neighbor with a deep humility and complete self-forgetfulness. Their dearest desire will be to persuade Christians that the yoke of their loving Savior is easy and his burden light. Intent on following in the footsteps of the Good Shepherd, they will attract his sheep with kindness, drawing them with the bonds of love. If necessary, they will carry them on their shoulders. With every possible effort, they will totally exclude the opposite spirit of fear and rigorism, by which Jansenism did do much harm to the church. So actually, we see here in his early document, drawn up for his new congregation, Formula Instituti, he already mentioned the model of the Good Shepherd for his conference. Yeah. They also have to take these qualities of the Good Shepherd to be theirs. Yeah. But he also mentioned that the qualities of the heart of Jesus should be there: gentleness, humility, kindness, yeah, and all this are expression of love, God's love. Yeah. And even he said, if necessary, yeah, they will carry them on their shoulder. This is also a touch of love. Yeah. And the last sentence is referring to the Jansenism. Yeah. The what we call it in a group, yeah, of those who were of the people also that make that do much harm, did do much harm to the church, also to the people in Sudan. Yeah, because this Jansenism created, for instance, fear, yeah, among the people, and so forth like that. And the MSA Constitution of 85 reiterates also this image of the Good Shepherd. In Jesus, we see the Good Shepherd who goes in search of those who are lost, who knows his own, and gives his life to save them. He shows us the Father's deep concern for those who are considered unimportant and whose rights are disregarded. We learn from him, who is gentle and humble of heart, who eases our burdens and gives us rest. He also makes demands and speaks with authority. To those who come to him, he gives his own strength and courage to help them live and work for justice and peace. And I would like to quote here both the saying of Father Chevalier, but also of Mother Louise Hartzer about a leader in a community. The superior, or we can translate now leader, of course, yeah, must be wise, prudent, spiritual, enlightened above all in the science of the saints, constant, earnest without affectation, firm but without severity, kind without being soft, likable but unassuming. To these qualities of mind and heart, he will add love of prayer and meditation, application to work, and the earnest practice of humility, zeal, and charity. Faithful in his observance of the rule, he will give example in everything. Impartial and prejudiced, animated by a spirit of faith, guided by great purity of intention, he will use his authority only for the glory of God and the good of the society. He will never act on his whim, but always with wisdom and discretion. This saying of Father Jules Chevalier in 1857 was quoted both in the Constitution of the MSC and also of the Daughters of Our Lady of the Sacred Heart. As much as possible, the leader, the superior, will never make his authority felt by his brothers and sisters. He will not treat them in a domineering way, but with kindness, gentleness, love, and cordiality. Yeah. I was reflecting on this, and I was trying to put the context, of leadership and obedience in Jules Chevalier time. I believe that in those days, when we come to obedience was still understood a kind of a relationship between an authority and a member. Meaning that if the authority gives an order to a member, what the member will do is only obey, do what the authority likes him or her to do. We will see later how the notion of obedience shift after the Vatican Council. But if we put the context of that time, and Father Chevalier was already speaking about the qualities of a superior, and combine there or integrate the qualities of mind and heart, I think it's very extraordinary. Especially when he says here, as much as possible, the superior will never make his authority felt by his brothers or sisters. He will not treat them in a domineering way, but with kindness, gentleness, love, and cordiality. And then Sister Marie-Louise Harse also mentioned, with humility of heart, superiors will express their will as a request rather than a command. Yeah. We know that until the Vatican II, when we speak about this kind of obedience, the word command would appear then. The command from the superior to a member, for instance. And this command should be done according to the say of the superior. As a model, they will take our Lord, so gentle and gracious towards his apostles, was Saint Joseph at Nazareth. It was his duty to command, but in what a way he did it. The way, is important here. And Mother Louise Harzer or Father Chevalier is saying the way is kindness, gentleness, and love. In the recent years, we also learn about the servant leadership. This servant leadership is applied in many organizations or even in companies. And if we notice or read carefully what Chevalier already did in his leadership, we may say that, well, Chevalier already showed this, what a servant leadership means. I took in this from the website of the servant leadership, which says that servant leader is servant first. Or in other words, servant leadership is first to serve. It begins with the natural feeling that one wants to serve first. Then conscious choice brings one to aspire to lead. That person is sharply different from one who is leader first, perhaps because of the need to assuage an unusual power drive or to acquire material positions. The leader first and the servant first are two extreme types. Between them, there are shadings and blends. They are part of the infinite variety of human nature. So here then is being mentioned about the leadership. Two kinds of leadership. The one that put in the first place leader, while the other one put in the first place servant. The difference manifests itself in the care taken by the servant first to make sure that other people's highest priority needs are being served. The best test and difficult to administer is, do those served grow as persons? Do they, while being served, became healthier, wiser, freer, more autonomous, more likely themselves to become servants? And what is the effect on the least privileged in society? Will they benefit or at least not be further deprived? So we see here that servant leadership puts priority service. And also, the last part of this quotation mentioned about the effect of the servant leadership on the least privileged in society. I think this goes with our religious leadership. Yeah, we want to serve especially those the least privileged in society. A servant leader focuses primarily on the growth and well-being of people and the communities to which they belong. While traditional leadership generally involves the accumulation and the exercise of power by one at the top of the pyramid, servant leadership is different. The servant leader shares power, puts the needs of others first, and helps people develop and perform as highly as possible. So we see here also that if we are servant leaders, then we have to put priority on the growth, the well-being of others. Yeah. Not on our power, but more on our service to others. And even is saying here, power sharing. Yeah. And we want to make other people grow, yeah, or feel their well-being and so forth. Not like our political leaders. Yeah, I don't know in other countries, but now in Indonesia we are preparing for the general election next year, and all these political people, figures, yeah, were putting themselves in the first place, yeah, to be the legislators or to be the executives or whatever. Yeah, they show themselves, I'm the best, so you have to choose me, and so forth, and so forth. So the goal of the leader is to serve. From what we can gather from leadership of Father Chevalier, we can say that he already showed what does servant leadership mean. For instance, he wants to serve first. And what is extraordinary in Father Chevalier, of course, that he serves with heart qualities. Or he leads the congregation, he leads the parish with the qualities of his heart, the good heart. He makes sure that the good of the parish of the congregation is his highest priority to serve, even though he has to face difficulties and trials. And he also does not work alone, and he puts the needs of others first. As a leader of a congregation, yeah, he has this council, of course. And in the parish also, he has these people around him. He called collaborators, yeah, with him. And especially he helps others grow in their faith in their charity, in their concern, and so forth. So, we are grateful that we can learn much from Father Chevalier, especially from his leadership. We now have an idea, we have a mission, we have a work, we form our religious congregations, and we are grateful that we are now feel as a Chevalier family. We have also this vision, this mission, his exemplary life, and of course, his qualities, the qualities of heart we inherit from him. And so, we inherit this as a kind of a fidelity to the charism of Father Chevalier. Yeah. We are faithful, yeah, to discover more and more, yeah, for us, his charism. But along with the contemporary time, we also have to be creative. Yeah. And we know that we have also to follow the progress development of the notion of leadership now, and especially in the last few years, yeah, our Pope is advocating the synodal way, yeah, and many other things. Yeah. So we have to be faithful to our charism, but at the same time, we also have to be creative in order to make our charism, our spirituality, our mission relevant today and later on in the future. True to our legacy, we are challenged to find creative ways and the new ideas offered by the present time. And here I would like to quote something about the development of the notion and the practice of leadership, especially as mentioned by Stephen Covey. Yeah. We have experienced this kind of shift in emphasis to leadership. Or in other words, that we have witnessed the fundamental change in leadership. Once leadership is described in its relation with the authority, which is considered central and so demands obedience. In our own church, in our own religious congregation, we know, yeah, how in the past, for instance, we have to be obedient. Even we have this term, blind obedience. No. Well, I was formed already in the spirit of the Second Vatican Council, but there was still kind of a shift, no, from the previous understanding to the newer understanding, for instance, of this obedience and authority. Yeah. Perhaps the senior of us might give some examples. So their own experience in the novitiate or in the postulancy and so forth. I still remember, for instance, when I was in the novitiate, our novice master, now he's still living with us, Father Lamberto Somar. Once he gave us, the novices, a kind of a task to clean or to take care of the small garden in our novitiate. And he came to one of the novices who was putting a kind of a rope, to make a straight line. And for the novice, it was already straight. But the novice master came and said, no, you have to put it straight. It's not straight now. So, and after that, the novice master went somewhere and he came back, and that novice did not do anything. And then the novice master came and said, nah, now that is right. It's good now. But actually the novice did not do anything about that. Or other examples, many examples. We can say, because the authority speaks already, and so the member just listen and does what the authority asks him to do. But then leadership put more stress on efficiency and effectiveness in work. If you are a good, efficient, and effective worker, then the result of your work is the measure of your success, and so forth like that. But then later on, with the new development again, and Stephen Covey mentioned the 8th habit, that is to listen to the inner voice, or in other words, to the heart, to our own heart, in order to lead others better. So all what he mentioned before, especially to be an efficient or effective leader, then is not enough. A leader should lead from his or her inner voice, from his heart, let's say. He or she will rather inspire and animate than command. So leading from the heart will lead to discover the inner voice. If we want to lead from the heart, then we have to discover more and more what the inner voice is saying to us. And as we know, and I already mentioned, that religious leadership needs qualities of the heart. Of course, now, every leader also needs some skills. In our leadership today, even in the church, not only in the religious congregation, we have to be consultative and collaborative. For instance, every provincial leader or congregational leader will have a council. Yeah. And our Pope now is very keen on synodal way, meaning that the governors of the church should also listen and walk with the faithful people from every walk of life. Yeah. This is not a kind of authoritarian. Yeah. And we know that in the Catholic Church we have this, what we call the clergy. Yeah. In our general chapter later, one of the many points mentioned about clericalism. Yeah. We still have this kind of attitude of clericalism. Yeah. Especially if we in the community they are brothers, for instance. Our leaders now also are required to be open. Yeah. And also to listen to the community. Yeah. Discuss important matter with them. Or in other words, to involve the whole community. But also discerning. To discern means to listen. Yeah, to God's will. Yeah. Through the community or even a member of the community or the situation, the new situation, or even our ministry, our apostolates, we are there. But also, present leaders need some kind of skills in managing or organizing or running the congregation or the province, for instance. He also needs to know the rules. We know we have this constitution and statutes, guidelines or directories. Yeah. He or she knows how to take good decision. He also knows how to share responsibilities with others. But we are also in the reality that our communities are international and intercultural. So it's not easy sometimes to live in a new situation. I myself experienced so much about this, especially when I was in Rome. Yeah. Already in 1993, by the end of 93, I was the first Asian, for instance, in the MSA General community. All others were European. How I have to adjust, try to place myself in this new community. But also the others, how they could relate with me. And so forth like that. New environment, new members, and many other things, pluralistic then. But what is important for us that our communities are oriented to mission, to do service to others. And we are now involved in many different apostolates. And leadership is important also for this service and mission. And in this leadership then is to animate and to orientate the different apostolates or mission. Like I mentioned above, there are also rules, that serve as norms to live out the charism, the spirit, and the mission, also to guide the life and the works of apostolate. Rules are important. But behind the rules, of course, we need these hard qualities. And the final goal of all this then for leadership is to have a good governance, where there are the what we call the important elements of a good governance, such as subsidiarity, transparency, co-responsibility, accountability, participation, responsiveness to the needs of other people, and so forth like that. So here, I would like to mention once again, for leadership in our congregation, we do not need, we need, not only skills, but also hard qualities. With that, then, a leader function more as animator, as inspire. So by the end of this talk, I would like to invite you to discover the qualities of the heart and how we can integrate them in our leadership, the leadership of our communities, of our congregation. And we can also examine how this kind of leadership is already felt or applied in our communities, and how the leadership is carried out, how far the qualities of the heart become part of the leadership in our communities. I would like to quote at the end of this talk, just a kind of word from Pete Hoekstra. Real leadership is leaders recognizing that they serve the people that they lead. My dear brothers and sisters, by this then I end my talk, and I thank you for listening to me. For some of you, maybe once again, because so far during this COVID-19, every time the Corvite team organize this kind of seminar, I would be the one also invited to participate, to share something with you. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Father Yohanis Mankey, Yohanis. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih.
Kamida, salamat po. And merci beaucoup. Dankeschön.
Merci.
Today, we still have maybe we can have about 3 minutes before we end, because we started a little bit late. If you don't mind, I'd like to invite one or two people to comment, to have a feedback. So how you felt about the presentation of Jansen. Anybody? No one? Okay. Well, okay, Sophie?
Yes, wait a minute. Yeah. Thank you, Father Mange, for your. I was happy to see you online again. So many memories came to my mind when we were together in Cavite. However, thank you very much for your inspiring and enriching presentation. It is really heart touching, and you very clearly explained to us the what touched me is leading from the heart, and also Chevalier has done it many when as a leader, as a founder. He had all these qualities, and he's also expecting from us to lead from the heart. I think when we lead from the heart, we can find many solutions for our difficulties or for our problems or for our concerns. I appreciate a lot for your presentation. Thank you very much, Father.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sophie. Anybody? One last? Okay. No more? Okay. So I would like to take this opportunity in the name of Core Vitae Formation Team and our participants to thank you, Yancy, for this terrific presentation. You made Father Chevalier alive again. You have your very special quotes. I was listening to you and I thought he was right in front of me. And I could see the way he led our society from the time that he was parish priest and the time that he founded our congregation and developed our congregation with a sense of mission and a sense of service to the people. And you developed it in such a way that the qualities of the leadership of Father Jules Chevalier was reflected too in the spirit of leadership inspired by the Second Vatican Council and now inspired by the synodality of Pope Francis. But bringing into the picture not just the law or the rule or tradition and culture, but most importantly, the heart. The heart. Leadership with the heart and with a biblical image of the Good Shepherd. So, with that, I think we are prepared with your input today. I think we are prepared to go to the next presentation on June 10, next Saturday. We will have leadership models. What leadership model is closest to the Jesus model of the Good Shepherd? And to Father Jules Chevalier as leader with the spirituality of the heart and mission that will be given to us by Merle Salazar of the Dolch. So we started with the signs of the times and the church realities of today to put us into context, the kind of leadership our context now demands or the needs of the people and the church. And then we went into the images of the Good Shepherd in the Bible, including the leadership of Jesus and his friends and disciples. Today, we heard the leadership in religious life, going back to the original inspirations of the founder. Thank you very much, and to everyone, I hope you will have a fine weekend and a blessed Sunday of the Holy Trinity. Sister Kathy.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. That was really wonderful. So that brings us to the end of our time together. Thank you, Father Mankey. As Ben has said it all, thank you for always being generous to be of great support to COVID's program and to the team. We value you and we appreciate your goodness. Thank you. So we finish. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
Have a
Thank
nice
you.
day.
Thank you all.
we'll see you
Thank
next
you.
week.
Thank
For
you.
next week. Yeah.
Thank you.
Next
Thank
Saturday.
you. Thank you. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Ben. Thank you,
much.
Cecilia.
Maybe if Father stops his presentation, we can see the whole picture.
Yes. See you next week.
See you next week. Thank you for
And
permitting.
we thank you sincerely to Father Ireneo, for he disappeared.
Thank you. Have a nice
Thank you. Thank you.
Father Ireneo, who is still
Thank
Have a nice
you.
weekend.
behind there.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, Maria.
네.
Yeah.
Bye,
Thank you.
Cecilia. Thank you. Bye bye, Dorothy.
Bye bye,
Bye
Cecilia.
bye,
Thank
Dorothy.
you.
Bye. It's on.
Okay, good. Now we can see.
Bye, Evelyn. Nice to meet you,
Yeah.
Evelyn.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye bye
Ah.
bye bye.
Bye, Lucy. Bye.
Okay. Bye, Dorothy.
Bye, Lucy.
Bye.
Bye, Susan.
Okay, see you.
Bye, Anette.
Okay, I will leave this
Dorothy.
Hello, Stanet.
Hi, Anette. Wow.
Bye-bye.
Good to see you.
Nice seeing you all too.
Yes.
Are you all receiving the presentations being sent, or some are still haven't received yet?
I didn't receive mine.
Yeah, I do put it all in the, so I don't know that you are not receiving, some of you are.
Thank you.
Thank
So
you very
well done for the translation, huh? Thank you,
Yep.
Father Reneo, for leading us into this. So Cecilia was able to translate
Yeah, thank
very
you
well.
so much.
Yeah,
Thank you, Reneo.
that was really good. We didn't hear Cecilia's voice.
Yes, that's good. You didn't hear me. That's good. You are lucky.
Yeah, so that
Hi.
was good.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Yeah, good to see your face, all sisters. Yeah, good to see you.
Can I go now?
Okay,
Sure.
sure.